Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 56. It's Ilya here, and as always I'm super excited to see you on my channel. As you know, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities do we have, and what can we expect for the upcoming week. So to be honest, it was another choppy week. I didn't take any trades this week. There were some tradable opportunities, but most of them happened during Asia. And like we had NFP on Thursday, and I usually avoid trading NFP, although it can be profitable, but most of the times you might get stopped out by a huge wick, manipulation, high spread. So I really don't advise trading it, except if you don't really know what you're doing. So although the month finished on profits, I am up 4.2% for the month of June, which is not a big percentage, but it was a very slow month for me, very hard to take any trades. And yeah, I took less trades than I usually take, but it's fine. And I really hope July will bring something much better, some clearer setup, some clearer structure, so we can finally start capitalizing more often. So if you're new to the channel, it's all about trading. I share weekly analysis, I share educational content as well. Much more is coming, so consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell in order not to miss the content that is upcoming. And if you already did it, let's see what do we have for the week ahead. Alright, as always, starting from the DXY, our best friend, in order to see where the dollar might take us into the next week, so we can get a bias for the other pairs, because most of the currencies are related to the US dollar. It's the most traded currency out there, so it's very nice to have a bias on it, which will help you out determine what the other pairs might do. So as you can see, the weekly candles really tell me nothing for 4 weeks. We just have consolidation right here at the bottom, huge wicks to the bottom, huge wick right here, another wick right here, and we have like an indecision week right here. The market didn't go anywhere, so there were some intraday moves, but really nothing. So how I look at this structure is a nice push to the downside, and this could be a corrective phase in order for the market to create a lower high and then potentially continue to the downside. But what we see from the downside is that there is a very strong support around 96. This kind of key level, you can plot a horizontal line like this, and when you look at the left, most of the times the market is respecting this area. Now, as you can see, when it tapped, massive explosion. When it taps, it always reacts. So potentially if we manage to break below this area, then we might have some downside potential, but this is far away in time. So let's have a look at the daily time frame when we have this information from the weekly. And as you can see, we have 5 days right here of consolidation. The market really didn't do anything. So what I will do, as usual, I will mark the levels that I think are important for my analysis, and those are my daily areas. So as you can see, the market is stuck in this consolidation right here. It tried to push up to break above but failed. We started leaving wicks, then we had a bearish day right here, but when the market tried to continue to the downside, it created another wick to the upside. And on Friday, it was a very slow day because we didn't have any news. It was actually, yeah, very slow. And you see that we have just a little candle of rejection to the upside. The EMA is flat, meaning that the market is consolidating and dropping to the 4 hourly time frame, which is my main time frame. So we can see that there were some short opportunities just right here, because you see the market pushed strongly to the upside, pulled back, broke below this structural level, but then we started to push up, pull back, push up again, failed, created a new lower low, and this was a pullback right here that we could have capitalized on, and I believe EU provided us with a nice push to the upside. However, then immediately when it pushed down, we had a nice bullish engulf, and then we ended up consolidating. So really nothing to be looking at the dollar. So what do I expect for next week? As always, we know that we are in a daily consolidation. So this is the daily zones, and we have a little 4 hourly zone just right here. This could be a lower high formation because the market pushed down, pull back, pull away, came back again, 2 wicks right here, meaning that there are sellers coming into that area. So what I need to see is how the market is gonna open on Monday and how it's gonna react to this area right here. It could potentially push into the highs again to reject. It can push to the downside, which will be perfect, because after this I will be looking for a pullback for a lower high formation right here, and then potentially I can take the price down. into the daily supportive level and see what happens from there. We can have a break and a retest to the upside as well, so make sure to have this level drawn right here and just monitor how the market is going to react to it, and make sure to have your daily areas and just be mindful that the market is overall in a consolidation phase, so there aren't any high probability trades on this one. So this is the DXY, really not having a bias on it. I cannot say bullish or bearish. I just want to see what Monday will provide with us for us, and then on Tuesday I will provide you with a fresh analysis in the Telegram group, so make sure to join us there. Euro USD weekly time frame. So you can see that we have price consolidating right here for 4, even 5 weeks into this supply area on the left. As you can see, 1.14 as well, and the market is failing to break above. So we had a nice impulsive move to the upside. This could be a pullback, a higher low formation in order for the market to push up, but we can see all of those wicks to the upside indicating selling pressure and that the market is potentially gonna push to the downside and maybe come to retest this sort of areas right here, but we shall see. So from the weekly time frame, we don't have much information except from a wick to the upside, which indicates bearish pressure, but the candle is bullish, so really nothing to say. And as you can see, the last 5 days, which are opening just right here, 29th of June, bullish with a wick, bearish with a wick, bullish with a wick, bearish. It's just madness. You really cannot trade this one. So again, from the daily time frame, I will just try to spot my key areas, which is I would just grab all those wicks like this. So I'm grabbing this body with those wicks to create an overall level, and you can use further confidence, which is 1.12 key area in the market. And then we have this daily resistance as well, where the market is failing to break above, and we have this supply area from the weekly, which I will delete in order to keep it clear and precise. So this is from the daily time frame. The daily candles tell me nothing, it's just a consolidation, and when I drop to the 4-hourly time frame, you will see it clearly. Like really nothing to be traded on that one. We pushed to the lows, price started to consolidate. It looked like a nice breakout to the upside for longs, but when we came for a retest, the retest was very bearish and actually created a nice lower high formation right here. The market pushed down to create a lower low, but on the retest we had an equal lower high just right here, which turned into an inverse head and shoulders right here. But this was I think, yeah, this was a huge wick. It was not NFP. Yeah, I think it was not NFP. And then we pushed up. Then again, after we created a push and a pullback, we were looking for longs because we broke this structure right here, and then the market pushed up. Very nice. And what happens after this? Massive bearish engulf to the downside, 50% pullback, which was a short opportunity. We push down and we end up the week with consolidation. So taking all this information, you see how choppy it is, and you really have to be monitoring the hourly time frame just to spot where the market is going now. For example, there was a beautiful short opportunity just right here, but I didn't take this one. If I go to the 15-minute time frame just to show you, like it was looking very choppy for me, but I had my rules actually satisfied. As you can see, we have an uptrend. We had a break of that uptrend just right here. We have a first retest, then the market started to consolidate, and I got discouraged into entering this trade because I didn't take the first pullback. I was saying to myself, okay, let's wait a little bit more. But then we had break, retest. It was kind of consolidating, and when we broke, we never came for a quick retest of this break, so I didn't take it. And after this setup, there weren't actually too many good ones, so I just skipped this pair for the week. So what do I expect for the next one? As you already know, guys, it's really hard to analyze this one. It's really hard to even drop 4 hourly levels. So what I will do is I see that the market is finding support from this one, and it's kind of resisting from this sort of area right here, which is a break and a retest of the last higher low, because we consider this to be a higher low. We have a push, pullback, and a push. So we have a high, higher, low, higher, high sequence, but then we broke below this one, broke below the EMA, and currently testing to the upside. So if the market holds around this area and potentially provides us with a short opportunity, we might have it. Then I want to see a break of this 4 hourly region, a retest on it, and then we can take the price into the daily area. And if this daily area breaks, then we will have downside on the euro. So let's see what happens. Make sure to follow the updates on Tuesday, because right now the price action is just awful. So yeah, let's be more patient for a clear price action. EURJPY weekly time frame. There were 2 opportunities on this pair which I'm gonna show you, but personally I didn't take, because when I spot that a week is very choppy, I just take a break because I don't want to be risking my capital when the conditions are not favorable, and I would really advise you to learn to do so, just to step away and don't have the urge to trade always, right? So what we have from the weekly time frame, we have a nice push to the upside. We have a nice correction right here. The market is forming support into the EMA as well, and it's starting to push to the upside. So from weekly time frame, it kind of looks bullish to me. So from daily time frame, again, we have this nice push. We have a low, lower, high, lower, low sequence. But then look what happens when the market tries to create a lower high, just right here. What do we expect after a lower high? We expect the market to continue down and break this low. However, the market pushes down to create actually a higher low of this structure right here and starts to push to the upside. So from daily time frame, we are already having the reversal, and I can say that I'm more bullish biased than bearish because we have a high, higher low, higher high, retest of the previous structure right here, which is a very nice actually weak area because you can see support becomes resistance, then resistance becomes support from the other side, and right now we can expect the market to go up. So this is the daily time frame. Nice price action, I would say, for the following week. But let me show you the trades that I personally was looking at, but I didn't take, because just look at the 4-hourly time frame. The price action for this week, it's just a consolidation. Like, yes, from the daily time frame we had the long bias, but since the week opened, we just had this price action, which is pretty hard to trade. And this is when I go to the hourly time frame, right? So first opportunity was right here, a long setup. Why I took this one? Because from the hourly time frame, I spotted that we had a broken lower high. And what do I expect after this? Immediately, I expect my head and shoulders formation, just right here. Here it is, inverse head and shoulders. And then when I drop to the 15-minute time frame, let me just spot it right here. What do I wait for? Is for a beautiful downtrend right here. We have a break of the downtrend. We have a beautiful retest right here. So this is a trade I really regretted not taking because it was pretty nice. Let's say we have a stop loss like this, and the market overall hit 3R, even maybe more. So this was a pretty nice trade with another scale in opportunity, because then we had a break in the retest of this little area right here. Tap, 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 tap. Look how the EMA is perfectly holding. This is just beauty. Yeah, I didn't take this one, which was a pretty nice opportunity. You can go into your charts and see how you can implement this one. And the next one was actually again on the hourly time frame after we broke the previous higher low formation. Nice push to the downside, a little bit of choppiness, and I didn't take it just because of all the choppiness right here. You can see we have a very strong support just right here, and when the market broke, when the market gave me my entry criteria, it was kind of already too late, right? So we have this consolidation right here, and when the market broke structure and came to retest right here, it would have been an amazing sniper entry, but I said, oh, we already tested the support, so my probabilities are immediately getting lower. But the market provided us with a nice push to the downside. Overall, if we took the trade, maybe stop loss above the structural level, we could have nailed the nice 1 to 3 again. So there were some opportunities on UJ, but yeah, nothing major and nothing clear from a 4-hourly perspective. So as we have the bullish bias from the daily time frame, let's see what do we have on the 4-hourly. We have this little structure right here that is currently forming and that is finding support. And what I see is, what I will drop with a line is, I want to see a break and a retest of this area right here. Because what is this? This is a higher low that broke, became resistance, tried to push down, but failing. Right now it's pushing into that area again, and it's failing for 8 hours. So what I need to see is the market to really break above, come back for a retest potentially, and then I will look to take the price to the upside. First targets will be the supply and demand areas right here, and then potentially we can target a new high. So EJ, bullish bias, but I won't be surprised if we actually break to the downside, retest, and come back down. So make sure to adapt to the market as always, and I hope you extracted something valuable from this pair. Nice 2 opportunities to be traded, but unfortunately I didn't take them. So let's see what do we have for next week. AUSD weekly time frame, very choppy pair, but as you can see, the week ended up bullish because it was slowly climbing to the upside, but it was in a very choppy manner. So as you can see from the daily time frame, we have a massive push to the upside. We have this correction phase. We actually created a double bottom, which was very nice, but then the market just started to consolidate. And if you check the daily time frame, like this would be a big zone, because if I try to catch the wicks and the bodies, it becomes big, but we're actually sitting in some sort of a consolidation right here. And why I didn't like this one is because just look at the 4-hourly time frame. It's just climbing slowly to the upside, but wick up, wick down, wick up and down, big wicks. The only opportunity was right here on the break and the retest of this structure, but it was just a 1 candle retest right here, evening star formation, bullish engulf, and after the bullish engulf, boom, stop hunt. So really not a nice pair to be traded. So I'm gonna be quick on this one, guys. If I just try to spot my most recent structure, it will be something like this. It's a very big one, but it's not clear where the higher low is. Keep in mind that we have a very strong resistance on top, so I really need to see some clear movements before I trade this one. So let's be patient and let's just wait for something to happen. Similar situation on AJ. On the weekly time frame, we have a bullish candle, not a very strong one, but it's bullish, which is a nice signal to see from the weekly time frame that we can potentially expect continuation. From the daily time frame, we can see that this looks a little bit better because we actually have a break right here of this sort of structure, which is really not clear, but we have the same situation right here. The market creating a double bottom. It tried to push up, failed, consolidated for 5 days right here, and then we had a nice break to the upside, retest, but after the retest, the market started to chop. Then on the 4-hourly time frame, what do we have? We have the similar situation. Just look, delete everything, guys, and look at this price action. Like, I really cannot spot anything in this one. It's just unbelievable. The only thing again right here, like, yeah, from here, we had this double bottom. We had a break in a very strong retest. Then the market provided us with a nice push. Then we have a nice push again to the downside, which is a break and a retest of this area. But even if we entered, we would have been stopped out by this huge wick. Then the market creates a huge wick to the upside and then starts to chop. Very messy pair. So I will take this high because I think it's a major one, and I will keep this low right here as my major areas. I can even move this one a little bit to the upside, because if you zoom in, you see that we have little pushes and little pullbacks. Right here is the last pullback, so maybe I can move it right here. But what I will just do, guys, is I will wait for Monday, Tuesday to open and just show me what this pair wants to do. It's very messy. If you go to the hourly time frame, you can spot some tradable opportunities, but when I don't like the 4-hourly time frame, then I just don't go to the hourly time frame too much. So this is my analysis on this one. Let's just wait for something to happen, either a break and a retest of this one and a continuation, or the market might start to find resistance right here and take it from the double top, or a break and a retest to the downside and continuation. Too many scenarios, so let's just see what Monday and Tuesday have for us. NZD/USD weekly time frame, you can see that we have a very nice bullish close right here, and it was actually just climbing to the upside with no pullbacks at all. So if I go to the daily time frame, you will see we have 5 consecutive days. Wait a minute. Yeah, there are actually 4 consecutive days of a strong push to the upside, but it was in a very choppy manner, because when I drop to the 4-hourly time frame right now, you will see we formed this very strong support level, which is perfectly fine. We had this nice bullish candle, and the only opportunity was sitting just right here on the break and the retest of this little structure. And if I go to the 4-hourly time frame, you will see what the retest is. It's a nice push, 1 candle pullback, and then we just go up. So if you didn't get into this trade right here, then there weren't any opportunities personally for me, because the market just pushed to the upside with no pullbacks at all. So hourly time frame, yes, we had a nice push. We had choppiness right here. It was looking like it was creating a double top, so very confusing price. Then we broke, retested, potentially another trade right here, and then the market just continued to trade to the upside in a very kind of a choppy manner. But overall, it's gaining pips to the upside, so this is what matters. But if you didn't get it from the bottom right here, then I don't think there is an opportunity. If you don't trade breakouts or a trend following some sort of on the 15 minutes, for example, I don't see any clear and high probability setups on this one. So what is my analysis? Well, let's see, what do we have? Just seeing this level on the left. I usually don't look at the left, but price is just tapping into this sort of resistance or supply area, whatever you like to call it. What I see is that my last higher low is just right here. And on market closure, the market, just look at the price action. The market massively pushes down, taps into this area, and massively closes to the upside. So what I believe will happen is the market will fill that wick. It will first push to the downside to potentially fill like 50% on even the whole candle. And then what matters for me is to see how the market is going to react to this area. Because if we break this area, if we break below the EMA, then I will shift my bias to bearish bias. But if potentially price comes back here again to form some sort of a double bottom or whatever it wants to form, then potentially if I have a break and retest on my lower time frames, I will be looking for longs, because overall the market is trending up, right? We want to follow the trend, but first I need to see my clear pullback, not just 1 candle pullback. I love clear pullback, something like this, nice push to the downside. Nice, this is a more of a complicated pullback, but it's fine. But not pullbacks like this. One candle down, then continuing up. One candle down, continuing up. So let's see what happens. I'm more bullish bias than bearish bias, but I need to see what will happen on Monday. If this wick is gonna get filled, and then potentially who will be in charge of the market. Same situation on NZD-JPY. We have a nice push to the upside. We have a nice pullback right here. The market is finding support, and we have a bullish weekly closure, which is pretty nice. And if we drop to the daily time frame, we have again 5 days of bullish push to the upside. We broke like yeah, it's confusing to draw the structure because you can take it from everywhere, and because we have a big wick right here, we have a big wick right here as well. So what I saw, just an average of the wicks, is this break and a retest just right here. So if I draw to the 4 hourly, sorry, we have this strong supportive level on the daily again, and the only opportunity for me on this one was this. So this is the daily zone, but we even have it on the 4 hourly, which is right this. The market starts to create a little bit of an uptrend right here, but in a very choppy manner. You see it was looking more sideways than uptrend, and because when we broke this, we immediately went back below. So I said, okay, fake out. But then we had the real break above, and we had a strong retest right here. So potentially an only opportunity is right here. And if I go to the hourly time frame to see what is up, yes, we have a double bottom. And if I go to the 15-minute, potentially, let me see. Yeah, so we have a break. Yeah, I think I have no trade on this one because I always look for a retest, and right here we exploded to the upside. This is the retest. So if you would like to enter right here, which I wouldn't because the market already pushed too high and I don't expect it to go high just for the day, then this could have been a nice trade, and the market ended up pushing very strongly to the upside, so it's fine. But from forecasting perspective, again, similar situation as on NU. We have this higher low formation. We have the high right here that is being created. We have a nice push into the lows right here, EMA touch, structural touch. So I need to see how the market is going to develop between those two zones, right? I think on market open, the market is going to push into the downside to fill that wick. And then from here, what matters for me to see is if the market is going to break in the retest to the break to the downside and retest, or if the market is going to form some sort of a bullish price action right here, potentially pushing a pullback for a higher low, or if it's gonna turn into a choppy market, right? Consolidation. So let's see. Make sure to stay tuned on Tuesday, and let's just wait for some clear price action. USD-JPY weekly time frame, no opportunities on this one at all this week. So what do we have from weekly time frame? Well, we have a nice bullish pin bar right here, I would say, indicating selling pressure, but the candle is bullish, and we can expect the next week to open and to fill this candle and maybe continue even to the upside. So we shall see how Monday opens, but from weekly time frame, nothing to speak about. We have this strong supportive level to the downside that the market found support at 106, 106,500 zone. So nothing really to speak about. Daily time frame, we had this nice push to the downside, a nice lower high formation right here. I expected the market to push to the downside. It pushed, but then on the pullback where the market was supposed to create a lower high, it tried to do so, but when we pushed strongly to the upside, and actually the market turns bullish. So from daily time frame, I am more bullish than bearish on this market because we broke this sort of structure. We broke above the EMA and currently testing it from the other side, which means that the market might end up pushing to the upside at the end of the day. And going to the 4 hourly time frame, you see when the market opened, let me see, 29th right here, it started with a massive push to the upside, one candle pullback. Again, I hate this when it happens. Nice push to the upside again, and then a strong push to the downside indicating selling pressure, breaking below the structure right here, pullback, but then the market ended up just consolidating. So what I will draw on this one is this major zone and the downside area, which is already drawn. So what I need to see is a break and a retest to the upside, or a break and a retest to the downside, and just see some clear structure on this one and some consistency, not just breaking above then breaking back below. It's a mess, right? So we had this inverse head and shoulders that work out right here. Nice push to the upside, pullback. Let's see if we will have bulls introducing some steam into the market to push us higher, retest, and then potentially target higher highs on the daily time frame, right? So let's see what happens on this one. Right now, consolidating, nothing clear. We have our zones, so we just have to wait. USD-CAD weekly time frame, right here we have a very nice situation actually, because we had this nice impulsive move to the downside, and we have a nice correction throwing wicks to the upside, and I think I Spoke about this from the previous week, and right now we have the reaction, which is pretty nice to see. So we can immediately say that from weekly time frame we are bearish. Dropping down to the daily time frame, we had this corrective pattern right here that's currently got broken, which is pretty nice to see. But I think there will be some sort of a pullback in order to gather more liquidity, potentially a head and shoulders formation or something like this. But we are bearish bias, so we have to look for sells. So there was one sell on this pair, which was somewhere around right here, because we had this push, we have this lower high formation, we have a bearish engulf, and I think, let me just spot where it was. It was somewhere at the, yeah, exactly right here. It was after this bearish engulf when the market showed us that the buyers are, the sellers, sorry, are entering into the market. And if I go on the 15-minute, it was very tricky because where I spotted the opportunity was just right here, on the break of my trend line, break of EMA and everything, and on the retest right here. So I was planning to enter at the top right here, stop loss something like this, and to write it down. But some guys from the community analyzed it like this on the break on the break of this structural level right here. So they enter right here, and very unfortunately they got stopped out. Which is pretty fine, but as you can see, the market then became very messy, very choppy, so nothing really to be traded. But this was the only opportunity on USDCAD that I sold this week, but I didn't take it because I just took a break from this ugly week. What do I expect right now? As we are selling bias and we're not in a trade right now, so I immediately draw my lower high level. We can see that the market closes very bearishly, so what I will just wait on this one is a simple lower high formation. So maybe it will open, it will push to the downside, and I will just wait for that lower high. I will just even drop to the hourly time frame again, because we see nowadays that the market is just giving us one candle of a pullback. So on the first signs of the market starting to pull back, I will just drop on my hourly time frame and start monitoring for the market to provide me with some bearish candles, with some rejections, and just for evidence that the lower high is forming. Right now the market is strongly pushing to the downside, so let's wait for that push to the downside to end. Potentially we might open pushing further to the downside, then just wait for the pullback to form, then just wait for a little level to be formed. Potentially we can even use this as confluence right here, and then I will be taking shorts on this one. So let's see what happens. Let's see what Monday will have for us, and we have a potential short scenario playing out on USDCAD. USDCAD weekly time frame. So what do I see right here is another bearish week. First we had a nice push to the upside, then the market went all the way down, and then we actually closed bearish. So bearish week, and we actually had two shorting opportunities on it. So if I see the last 5 days, which started right here, as you can see, this is the bullish push. The market went into the highs right here to test the highs, to gather liquidity, and then we had a nice bearish candle. And after this bearish candle, there were the opportunities. So just to drop a few levels on the daily, because we can see we are currently tapping into a very strong daily support, and we might have some problems to break it. But from full hourly perspective, you see the massive bullish push right here. Then we have a bearish push. You see again, the market constantly changes. And then we have this pullback into the EMA. So there was the first tradable opportunity, and the next one was just right here. So if I drop to the hourly time frame, the first one was very tricky, and I think it didn't provide a nice opportunity, because as you can see, big wicks, and then after the bearish candle we didn't have any pullback. So if I drop to the 15 minutes, yeah, so your only opportunity is this little slight pullback. Personally, for my trading strategy and how I trade, this would have been my trade right here, stop loss above, and a nice push to the downside. Not sure if I would have hit take profit. Let's just see, potentially if I enter, not a text box, bro, if I enter right here, and then stop loss potentially safely above structure, and the market falls to, yeah, well, 2.5, I could have taken this one, but potentially if I was targeting the downside area, it would have taken some time, and maybe I would have scaled in just right here, because we had again a nice push, a nice uptrend right here to look for a break. Here is your break, and then we on the retest right here, you could enter another short opportunity, stop loss again above, and then you nail a pretty nice trade on this one. But I didn't take any of those, but just to show them off for you guys to see what kind of setups we had this week. So again, going back to the 4-hourly time frame, what I see right now, I need to delete my drawings to keep the chart crisp and clean. Delete. So we have this area right here that looks like a lower high, and we have the very strong daily support. So I just want to see how the market is going to react between those two areas. Are we going to continue down for a lower low and then potentially look for a lower high? Or are we going to break to the upside and retest to potentially take us into the high, which will mean that the market is turning into a daily consolidation, right? Always keep in mind the higher time frame picture, but try to focus yourself on the lower time frame picture, because if you like say from the daily time frame, I am bullish, but the hourly is showing you bearish signals, this is where it gets confusing, right? So have in the back of your mind that the daily is bullish, but try to trade from one time frame. If you trade from the daily, then just use the hourly for your entries. If you trade from the hourly, then you drop to the downside. And I've explained this on my previous videos, so make sure to check it out. And more videos will come, so no worries. When I start taking some trades, I will make sure to record every single trade and show you guys the complete thought process. So on USD Swiss franc, more sell buys than buy buys, but first I need to see something to happen, potentially maybe just a little pullback right here to create a lower high formation on the hourly time frame, something like this, because we had a nice push down. We might come back for a lower high and potentially take us down, or the highest probability will be a break below this big supportive level, retest, and then continuation down. So let's see what happens. We'll go back to the charts on Tuesday. All right, let's go over the GBPs, starting from GBP USD as always. So we have a bullish weekly close. It actually looks like a little bit of a morning star formation, which is fine. We are emerging above the EMA, but this doesn't mean anything for now. But overall, we have a push pullback and a push, higher high, potential higher low, then we might take us into the highs right here. Daily time frame, what do we have? We have a massive push to the upside and then a downtrend to the downside, created a lower low, and right now we are pulling back for what it looks like to be a lower high, because our last structure is right here and currently the market is reacting at it. But the price already broke, I believe it broke. Let me just have a quick look. Well, yeah, it didn't really break it. Let me just make it precise. Yeah, it didn't really break the 78.6, but it's currently trying to break. So this pair is really 50-50. Like from weekly time frame, we have the bullish bias. Daily time frame is not ready yet, but 4-hourly time frame already reversed, right? So on the 4-hourly time frame, we had this lower high formation. The market pushes down, tries to create another lower high just right here. When we push down, we create a double bottom just right here. Then a massive push to the upside. The only opportunity that I saw was right here. But again, the pullback wasn't enough. I wanted to see something more, because if I draw the fib, it's not even a 38.2. So when I see this, I usually try to be more patient, but the market pulled back nicely, then pushed up, and I think on the 15-minute there was some sort of an entry. Yes, there is. You see push pullback, beautiful entry right here, but potentially would have gotten stopped out at break even by this push to the downside, and then the market massively pushed to the upside, providing us again with no pullbacks, just nice push, one candle pullback, push again. But when the market is creating this sort of pullbacks, you cannot expect a massive push to the upside most of the times, because this is not enough liquidity grabbed. This is not a discount price too much. So you don't know if price will push for too long to the upside. So keep that in mind. Right now we're entering into the supply area right here. The market reacts from it and ends up the day consolidating. So what I will do is I will mark my most recent structure, which is just right here, and I will just monitor if the market will stay above. The EMA perfectly acted as support, so potentially the market what might do is pull back into the zone to create a double bottom, or start pushing to the upside again to create a double top. So we really have to adapt to the market and see what it wants to do. So far, this is the analysis, nothing too much, not an immediate opportunity for market open. So what I will need to see is how the market will open, and then how it will start developing and how it will react to those two areas that we just drew. Have a look at GJ. Let's see similar formation right here, a nice bullish candle on the weekly time frame, daily time frame. Okay, on this one we are already shifting, guys. So why? Because we had a double bottom on the daily and the market broke the neckline. So we broke above the neckline and we actually retested it. The market broke above the EMA and currently sitting at the top. So what I think will happen is the market will provide us with a nice pullback, which is already happening actually. So as you can see, there was a trade right here, massive push, pullback, but actually some people from the group took shorts right here because it was like this candle was far too bearish. And as we tried to follow the momentum, but we took the trades from the top right here, and when the market pushed down, we already went break even. So it was a break even trade. But I was looking for longs on this one just because of the overall trend. But you see that we were never provided with a long opportunity right here. It was just an uptrend, then we broke to the downside. It was actually looking like a short trade for a retest, but the overall trend was up. So I stayed away from taking shorts. So back into the analysis, let's see what do we have. So if I delete those daily zones, what I see right now is that the market is forming this higher low formation. We have the higher high on the top as well. So what I need to see is how the market will react to those areas. We know that we are bullish from the daily time frame. The forward time frame is reversing as well. So what the market might do is again come back into the major area to retest, to create a double bottom on the hourly time frame, or potentially come back into the top. But if it comes into the top, most of the times it will find resistance and look like a double top, but it actually might be just a pullback higher low, something like this, and we might have this. So let's see what happens on Monday. I'm pretty curious about those trades, because they're not setups that are for immediate action, but we just have to see what is going to happen and we have to judge. We have this potential hourly level as well, and if it breaks and retests, we might have a very quick long into the support resistance level right here. But for now, there is nothing clear except from the fact that we're looking for buys. So let's be patient and let's see how Monday will open. GA, so on GA, where did the market open? Let's just check the weekly time frame. It's a complete mess. Big indecision doji long-legged one. From daily time frame, we have a nice push to the downside. We have a pullback, which looks like to be a lower high formation, so overall bearish from the daily. And on the weekly time frame, we had this push pullback, higher low formation, first break of structure, potential long, just right here. A massive push into the highs, right? And then on the pullback, the market tried to form a higher low right here, but failed. So I was telling my team, just wait, guys. Just wait for the market to show you some sort of an hourly bullish pressure, but the market just pulled back for a lower high and then broke back to the downside. So there wasn't a long setup on that one. So how I look at the market right now, well, we broke below the previous higher high, this one, because this one will turn support, and on the retest, the price is supposed to go up. But when we have our rules in place, we don't just go blindly on the retest, we wait, right? So right now, if I draw my FIP, I think price still has some, we are perfectly finding support from the 78.6. So this is the last resort for longs. But what I see is that overall the market is bearish. We are breaking and retesting this structural area. The market is below the EMA. So I think that we might have a short scenario on this one. GA is slightly confusing because it's correlated to AUD USD and GBP USD. So when both of them are trending up, this one ends up being a consolidation or just indecisive, if not knowing where he wants to go. So on this one, I am more sell biased for now, just looking at where the momentum is going. But what I need to see for further sell bias is a break of this structure right here and a retest. So I'm monitoring how it reacts on this one, but I will not rush to take any sales yet. I will just be patient and monitor, because we might have a push to the upside, a retest of this area, and continuation up. So this is GA, no opportunities on this one. There were some right here, but it was very fast. So I am staying away from this pair. So let's see what happens. And EURJPY, weekly time frame, we have a nice weekly bearish closure with a nice wick on top, meaning that the liquidity was grabbed and maybe we are ready to push to the downside. Daily time frame, we see we started out bullish and then we ended up the week bearish. We actually broke below this sort of a higher low formation right here, kind of breaking and staying below. But if I take this lowest wick, we're actually still sitting right there. But if I go to the 4-hourly time frame, we see that we had some very fast price action again. Nice push, no pullback at all. Of course, as always, nice push again. Nope. Yeah, this was a pullback that could have tricked us into buys. But I see that the market is already too high, so I just stay away from that one. Then the market massively breaks to the downside. Again, what happens, guys? One candle pullback. I hate those ones. And then we push to the downside and end up the week in a consolidation. So I will just mark this consolidation and see how the market is going to react from it. Are we going to have a continuation down and potentially a retest later? Are we going to reverse to the upside? We shall see, but no clear price action on this one. It was very impulsive, and with the strategy that I use, it doesn't work too good. So I just stay away until I see my clear setups, all right? So this is EURJPY, not very clear bias. We ended up the week in a consolidation, so waiting to see if the market is going to sustain to push to the downside, come back for a retest later, or if it's going to find support, break to the upside, retest, and potentially change my bias to bullish. So this is the GBP, guys, and let's see what else do we have. Gold weekly time frame. So what we can see right here is just a little indecision candle. So the market didn't move at all this week, and I think it's a little bit too high. Like, have a look at this, 4 weeks of bullishness right now slowed down, so maybe we can expect a little bit of a pullback. Why not? Dropping down to the daily time frame, what we can see is where the market opened right here, 29th of June. Yeah, just consolidation. Tried to push up, then pushes down, tried to pushes down, wicks from the downside, and then Friday was so slow. So as I said, from weekly time frame we can expect to push to the downside, but from daily structural levels, like, I can just take, yeah, this is too big. This one, like, the price action is really not clear. Look, we have this big consolidation, we emerged from the consolidation, retest, but didn't really continue to the upside. And if I drop to the 4-hourly time frame, you will not see clear price action right here to trade. So I always zoom in and try to figure out what is happening right now. But we had a nice break in the retest, so potential long opportunity just right here on the break and the retest of that structure. The market provides us with a nice push to the upside, one candle pullback, another push, creating a double top, like failing to continue above, nice push down, pullback, push down, push up, just madness. So what I will do right now, I will keep this very strong supportive level on the bottom, and I see that the market is currently reacting from this area, and maybe I will drop a little line on the break and the retest of this structural level right here. So on the break and the retest of this zone, we can take it to the downside. On the break and retest of this zone, we can take it for a higher high, and potentially break and retest of this big zone can take us into a bearish gold or just a big weekly pullback. So this is how I'm gonna break down gold. Not very clear price action, so waiting for something clear to happen. It creates a lot of wicks, so be very careful with your stop losses. And yeah, this is gold, no clear bias for now. If you just look at it, it's a consolidation overall. So I hope the next week is gonna bring in some volume and some clear movement. And wrapping up the video with a very quick outlook on the indices, there were actually some pretty nice trades. We have a new mentor in my private group that is sharing signals on US30, and the profitability rate is unbelievable. So what we have from weekly time frame, we have a bullish close, but with a wick on top, which is really not nice. Daily time frame price action, so we had a little bit of a correction right here. We tried to push below, but we found support, and then actually the last 5 days we had a bullish day, and then the market ended up consolidating. 4-hourly time frame, if I am able to spot where our trade is, or I think it was, yeah, I'm really not sure it was something on the hourly time frame, because I am not focused on US30, and I don't trade it too much. I just monitor it for my stock investment and NASDAQ as well. So, but how I look at this market is as a bullish market, because we're clearly creating bullish structure, and right now we're tapping into the previous higher low. So I'm marking this level, and I want to see how the market is going to react for it potentially, and then maybe push to the upside. And in the case of a break below and the retest, then I will be looking for the market to come back to the downside. And NASDAQ, we can see a very nice bullish weekly closure. The companies are recovering again after a small pullback to the downside, another pullback. The EMA is acting as a perfect support, and this is a fast reacting EMA, so the market is in a very strong uptrend. And we had a little inverse head and shoulders just right here. The market pushes up, pullback, higher low, nice push to the upside, no pullback at all to take any trades, maybe a retest of the structure, maybe a clear pullback, at least to the 38.2. I think we pulled, yeah, this week actually pulled back, but it was very fast. So if you didn't take a trade right here, then it would have been already too late. And the market ends up with a nice push to the upside. So the leg started right here, so I can draw my fib and I can wait for the market to pull back around this area, which is in confluence with this structural level on the left. So I will be monitoring how this will pull back and potentially form a high low, and then if this is gonna take us to the upside. So very quick outlook on the indices, overall bullish bias. And this is how I'm going to wrap up this video, guys. I really hope you found something valuable from it, and it's going to help you with your analysis. Let me know what you think down in the comments and what you want to see more from me. And yeah, make sure to hit the like button as well to support me. And thank you for watching up until now. I really appreciate you guys, and I cannot wait to see you on my next video. Have a crushing week.